I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, he need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gonna murder that.
What's good, guys? It's your boy Ebru, Knick podcast in the building. I haven't seen you guys in a minute, man. What can go wrong? What has gone wrong? Everything has gone wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk about just being alive and on this earth, man. You know, just having to deal with whatever is coming into your ears, whatever's going into your eyes, your senses and stuff like that, man. You know, sometimes you need to take a step back from things, man. I'm happy to announce that I lost like 12 pounds right now. I'm down 12 pounds. So I'm like 253 right now. So I'm on pace to get to where I want to be. I want to get around 245, 240 before the season starts. You know, so by the time game one of the season, which is about, what is this? I had it queued up here. 44 days. 44 days to the start of the NBA season, man. So in 44 days, I expect to lose like another 10, maybe 12 pounds, man. So hopefully I can get down to 240, man. We'll see. You know, if anybody wants to care about that, you know, I've been lifting weights really, and I'm just walking and lifting weights, you know, so 45-minute walks along with just lifting as heavy as I can, and calorie deficits, man. Stop eating like a like a crazy person, because you guys know a lot of times during the watch-alongs, when I do the watch-alongs, I tend to have like all kind of wild food here and just tearing it down all hours of the day and stuff like that, man. So you got to stop doing that, you know, and because I know exactly how I gained the weight, man. But you know, I'm here, man. It's time to talk some Knicks. Before we get into this, man, let's talk about some things here. Let's talk about the Giants, man. The Giants suck, dude. You know, one thing, Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. We all know this, right? You know, it's kind of like bad to keep bashing him, but there's a way to use him, and I just don't think the Giants are giving him any chance to be successful, man. So anyway, this is the score, 28-6, and it was just horrible to watch. He threw an interception where it looked like the Giants might have had some momentum going into the next quarter or whatever, where they possibly could have, you know, made a little move or whatever. Like Daniel Jones literally threw the ball right to the defensive player. You know, it like shocked the defensive player a little bit, and he scored. And it literally was like maybe like 20 yards away from our own touchdown. So, you know, it was ridiculous. And from their touchdown. So they scored immediately. It's just ridiculous, man. I wish the Giants would get it together. It's kind of embarrassing to see them with the old uniforms and for us to get spanked the way that we did like that, you know, with these uniforms on, man. So, you know, the quick fix, man, would just to get rid of Daniel Jones and just whatever veteran quarterback is out there, we should have picked up, and he should be the one that's starting, and we should just move on from here, because we got some weapons on this team, you know, as far as the Giants is concerned. You know, it's just not fun to watch, man. You know, also what's not fun to watch is the Roommates podcast, to tell you the truth. You know, like you want to talk about like my podcast, oh, you're this guy, or they're talking shit on the internet, blah blah. You know, people can say what they want about my pod, you know, but you know, I'm a one-man show. You know, every once in a while I might have somebody on the pod. You know, the last couple years, I want to say, I just been kind of just keeping it to myself, just to have my channel for my own thoughts and stuff. You know, because sometimes you get other people involved and things go haywire and stuff like that. I'll talk about that in a second. But these guys, listening to their pod, just listening to them banter back and forth. Aside from Josh Hart saying random things sometimes, like the show is not really entertaining. Like I know people that we talked about it behind the scenes and stuff. Like I know it's like taboo or like whatever for you to talk badly about anything having to do with the Knicks, especially the Knicks players or anything that they do. But their podcast is it's like their banter. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. I can still like them as players. I can still root for them. And doesn't mean I have to like their podcast too. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's pretty cool that people came out for this. But one thing I wasn't gonna pay $300 something for tickets. Some of these guys were paying. I think the cheapest tickets to get there was like 100 something, and then I think the rest was like 300 something. I don't know. It was 80. What was it 80 something? And like I forgot the prices, but they were pretty steep. Just to see like and they called it a block party. But New Yorkers know what a block party is. I'm not sure if that was a block party. And then also somebody else, in one of the group chats mentioned that there were like no black people in the audience. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that means anything. Knicks fans has no color, but it was like a bridge and tunnel crowd that was there at this event here, man. So I'm not hating on it in any way, but it just that it just where I'm making this point because our fandom I feel is like it's getting weird now with this content creating stuff, man. You want to start with the original YouTubers and the original guys with the audio podcasts and stuff, how that went. Now it's getting to the point where not everybody has a podcast and they're calling these things podcasts and not really podcasts. They're literally network television things, have sponsors immediately, have ads and stuff like that immediately. Podcasts, I'm doing a podcast right now, which is like minimal stuff, not really much money put into it. It's just somebody with a microphone talking into and I just happen to have a camera and I'm talking to you guys. So that's a podcast. The stuff that these guys are doing are not podcasts. These are like network, where people have jobs and are running the thing, and there's money, a revenue coming into these things, that is backing these podcasts. You know what I'm saying? So, so I don't know, man. It's just weird. Like they'll have guests. So the guest is what drives the show. I compare these guys to drink champs and the simple fact that how like let's say like Nori always interrupts the guest and and whatever. I think these guys interrupt the guests too. A lot of times they're talking on the side. Like for instance, the John Starks episode, these guys were talking on the side and they were doing the whole pause thing, and John Starks was kind of just like it's it's just like a Beavis and Butthead kind of situation going on with Brunson and Josh, man. But it's cool. No hate on my side, man. But I just got to make this point just to talk more about fandom before we get into Sprewell. Uh uh Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay from East New York. Jay's from East New York. I believe I met him. I met him at one of the get-togethers at the Morning Brew Sports get together. Morning Brew Sports is not even there anymore. They went to shit for another reason. But I mentioned Jay because Jay says that people on YouTube are stealing takes from people on Twitter. Now I gotta say, man, these guys on Twitter, I met everybody on Twitter and stuff like that. I've actually been on pods with some of these guys on Twitter. But these guys on Twitter, like they're a lot of the things they do is kind of like what do I want to say? Like kind of like childish in a way. It's like kind of like all the cool kids are making fun of the other kids, and then they always get in arguments about XYZ, and then some people are high and mighty and some people aren't. Some YouTubers like Chad Sports and you want to say another a Twitter person that also has a YouTube channel, Big Nick Energy. Though these different pods they keep getting blasted for racism, number one, blasted for like just like posting false information and when getting themselves caught up in that type of thing. So they get a lot of bad hate from that. And just from being bad podcasts. People say they're bad podcasters. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of guys out there that post content and they're just as bad. I've heard guys say racist things too, and it's all good because if the group doesn't think it's racist, then it's fine and it's funny. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody else says something, then all of a sudden it's like a big problem. But it is what it is, man. This the guy Nick's Big Nick Energy, they did get themselves in trouble for racist comments and stuff like that. But at the same time, I didn't even post that. I meant to click this, man. But I actually won their sweepstakes here for what is it for the where is it for the NBA 2K game here. As you can see here, it says Big Energy said, "Dear diehard Knicks PC, you are the winner, the winner of their digital copy of the 2K25 giveaway, man." So they took my information, man. I have yet to get back from hear back from them, but I should be getting that pretty soon, man. So I mean, these guys are at least trying, bro. They're trying to give back to the fans. They're trying to clean up their image with the giveaways and stuff like that, and that's the best that you can do. A lot of these other guys, they say stuff, say stupid things, stuff like that. They're not giving away nothing. They're not giving back to the fans and stuff like that, trying to make amends or just trying to keep the thing going, trying to keep the fandom, keep the conversation going. And that's my thing. Let's keep the conversation going because that's the whole reason why I started this pod. I started this pod to keep the conversation going. And because I was tired of the bullshit. Shout out to Michael K with his punk ass. I saw Michael K recently pop up on my feed because somebody said something or whatever. I don't know what the person said, but Michael K is going there talking all greasy, like calling the kid like I forgot what he called him. Call him like a child or call him like a I forgot what he said. Because I guess whatever he said he took offense to it. So then he starts bashing him on the show. Said, come on, man. Like you guys are like 60 something years old and you're still on that bullshit, man. It makes me want to say something to somebody. And just to bring it back into Sprewell, Sprewell literally said something to his coach because he was tired of the bullshit. Shout out to PJ Carlissimo here. This is PJ Carlissimo here. If I can boost this picture up a little bit. Where is it at? There you go. This is a PJ right here. So a PJ is known as a college coach and stuff like that. So as a college coach, you yell and scream at your players the way that you want to, especially back in the days. And nobody really was saying anything. You just kind of be quiet and you want to keep your scholarship and you want to do whatever. And whatever the coach says, you just got to deal with it. Bad coaching or whatever. Nowadays, guys, transfer. There's a transfer portal now, so you can make transfers are much easier. Guys can make money while they're in college now, so things are a little bit different now. College players are basically semi pro players now. So things are a little bit different. So I mean, PJ Carlson came from that era where with the yelling and screaming was acceptable, But just to bring it back to this here, let me get rid of this. This picture here, I gotta blow this one up. This is the actual aftermath of the choking incident. As you can see, PJ Carlissimo, Latrell put the paws on him. Actually, was choking the shit out of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, apparently, like maybe PJ might have said something derogatory or whatever, and then Latrell just couldn't take it no more and just attacked him. You have to watch what you say. That's the point I'm trying to say. That's the point why I jumped straight to this because you have to just watch your mouth, man. I say a lot of wild stuff on here. I tell guys S my D and all this and the other. But my thing is, if you got a problem, just say something. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I mean, the same thing with some certain guys out there. Everybody loves to say different things. But if you got a problem with the way people are doing things, then say their names. Say their names and call them out. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it should be. Same thing with Latrell. He had a problem with the coach. He took matters into his own hands. Not saying that it was the right decision, but he did what he had to do. And not for nothing, Latrell Sprewell was a wild boy, man, back in the days. We'll talk about some of the things that he's done throughout his career that just kind of just bugged out a little bit. But let's get into it, right? In the beginning, 1988, zero college offers. He played for junior college, actually, for 2 years, or excuse me, community college. He was in community college for 2 years in the 80s. I believe from 80 to 90, and then he went on to go to Alabama. So if I could talk about Alabama, where is it at? He played for Alabama. Where is it? Yeah, so here he played for he went to the Crimson Tide in Alabama. And he actually played with Robert Horry, Jason Caffey, if you remember him. James Robinson, who also was pretty good. Marcus Webb, I don't really remember him too much. But he played with 4 NBA basketball players. One of the guys happened to be Robert Horry and stuff like that. So it was that era, man, when all those guys would cut him. Latrell Sprewell, Robert Horry, all those guys from basically from my era, like the older heads from my era. Like say if I was in high school, there was guys that were in college and stuff like that. So the guys that are about 10 years older than me, that's when they started coming into the league. You will talk about the Kevin Garnett's of the world, other guys and stuff like that, leading into my era when you start getting into Marbury and stuff like that. So it was coming into that era. The hip hop era was here. Guys with the ball heads in the early '90s and in the braids and stuff like that. And Sprewell was definitely a big part of that culture, that era, coming into the NBA. The swagger, you know what I'm saying? Not just dunking the basketball, but taking the freaking the leather and the paint off the rim at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what was happening with Latrell Sprewell. 24th pick in the NBA draft. He was one of those guys that they looked like they might have been a second round pick. 24, I believe, was closer to like the end of the draft, during that time. And like I said, people didn't really think too highly of him, but he went on to be the second team all rookie. Second team all rookie, averaging 15 points per game. We'll get into that in a second. All NBA first team in 1994, which was basically the next year. And then all-star, second team defensive player. So I mean, Latrell Sprewell went on to have a nice career, especially early on in his career, for somebody that went to community college, for Christ's sake, and then went on to play for Alabama only 2 seasons. The first year, I believe, I don't have it queued up, but in this first year in college, he only averaged like 7 something points per game, and then he averaged, I think, 17 in the second season. And that's what got him drafted. And then the rest is history. Taking a look at his first year stats here, as you can see, 15 points per game, 3 assists, 1.6 steals, which is big, 3.5 rebounds in 35 minutes. And then he actually played with did he play on a winning squad? No, he did not, but he played for Don Nelson. I believe Billy Owens and these guys were on the roster back in the days, right? Or was Billy Owens later on? So he did play with Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway. Yes, Billy Owens was there. Billy Owens was another guy that needs some props too, especially coming up from that era. The guys that are like 10 years older than me, that are like in their 50s now. That's when that era was popping off, man. So it was an interesting era. Sarunas Marciulionis was still on the squad. So they had some scorers, man. Golden State always has some scorers, man. And Sprewell just added to that, being that backcourt guy that was able to get out on the break, get steals, and dunk the ball and stuff like that, man. So Sprewell was dope, man. Definitely a fun player to watch. Let me get back to his regular stats. Before he got to the Knicks, man, like he had hit his basically jumped right into his prime. He was averaging 24 points per game, leading up to the year where he basically started having his problems with the coaching and stuff like that. 24 points per game. So I mean, up until that point, like I used to say to myself, like, even though the Knicks were winning during this time, like I always wish that the Knicks would have a player like this, like Latrell Sprewell. That like the Knicks would never be in position to get a guy like that, because the Knicks are always winning. So we just don't have a way to draft a guy like that. The money is always weird, what I'm saying? So we can never sign a guy like that. So we end up signing Allen Houston and whatever, but it just wasn't those dynamic, attack the rim, bravado, hip hop, that culture, the ball head, the braids, that type of thing. We didn't have that guy. Houston wasn't that dude. Houston was very quiet, like religious, what I'm saying, 3-point shooter, didn't really kick up too much noise, what I'm saying. They had Charlie Ward, just cookie cutter guys. Shout out to Larry Johnson with the go-to for stuff like that. He had his little time, but Larry Johnson was always kind of clean cut for the most part too, as far as the way that he carried himself. So we didn't really have those really like crazy guys, especially Larry Johnson. Also was he was hurt. He had a hurt back, so he wasn't the same player anyway. So when we got him, it was pretty crazy, man. So he came through in the lockout shortened season. So if I can get to the trade here, he was traded for John Starks, Chris Mills, and Terry Cummings. This is before the season started. Like I said, it was the lockout shortest season. They only played like 50 something games. So I mean, it's a decent haul. John Starks was beloved, all-star for the Knicks, 6th man in the year. Chris Mills was still a starter in the NBA, and Terry Cummings was a former all-star. You know what I'm saying? Played 20, got 20 points per game, 10 rebounds for a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? He ended up gaining a lot of weight, but he still was a decent backup power forward in the NBA at this time. You know what I'm saying? So that's a decent haul for a guy, especially somebody that got in trouble and almost out the league for choking a coach, man. It's crazy. So I mean, it's cool to think back on this, man. So I know I mentioned the coach choking thing, man, but Latrell Sprewell is my second favorite Knick of all time, man. You want to talk about my favorite is Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason is just he's a New York son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I used to see him at West Fourth playing sometimes, or just in the streets playing basketball. And then for somebody like that to come through the mud, of New York City, and then finally make it to the NBA, then finally stick with the Knicks and do what he did. He just plays so hard, man. And he's my favorite. But Latrell Sprewell, as far as the NBA, he probably was one of my favorite players in the NBA. But when he came to the Knicks, it was a wrap after that, man. All that stuff that I wish that the Knicks would had, we had him on the roster. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty cool. But I mean, getting Latrell Sprewell, and even though I'm saying that he's my second favorite player of all time, even over Ewing and some of these guys, he still gave us a lot of problems, man. This is just one article here. I know I'm using the New York Post, and I'm not really a fan of that publication, but they just was talking about the year after '99, once we made it to the finals. He was having legal troubles. Aside from like the choking incident, he had a issue with a car accident or something like that, and it was just like all the time it was something going on. So he had court cases and stuff like that, but wasn't really communicating with the Knicks. So he ended, and then through not communicating with the Knicks, he ended up driving across country and missed 2 days of training camp, and then it says that likely he'll miss 2 sessions of training camp. Not communicating with the Knicks because he felt like he didn't have to, that type of thing. So it was that type of guy, man. He was famously said that with that contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves, that it wasn't enough to feed his family. Then he ended up being out the league and retired. So he was just that type of guy at that time, man. People change and stuff. We could talk about the change also. Latrell Sprewell here sitting next to Dolan, bro. When did you think that he would be sitting next to Dolan in any capacity? Because when he left the Knicks, it wasn't exactly like peaches and cream when he left the Knicks. Like when he left the Knicks, he was the Knicks were bad, the Knicks were starting to lose. He was like cursing out James Dolan on the sideline. James Dolan was on the sideline, and the trust people was cursing him out. You can hear him on the microphone, and you can see him cursing him out, pointing at him, and all kind of stuff. So it's funny that all these years later, you're talking about now 20 years later, after all of that, that Sprewell could sit down next to Dolan, and basically Sprewell is at every event. One of the playoff games I went to, Ali Brew, I believe his name of it is. It's in Queens. It's in Sunnyside, Queens. The Knicks had a Knicks fan event where they had free food and free liquor too, man, free beer and free wine. At this bar. And Sprewell showed up. He just walked in there with Larry Johnson. I think John Wallace was there, and they just walked in, and it was in there chilling like fans, cheering for the Knicks and stuff like that. So you get to the point where like I said, where he's cursing out the owner, and then now 20 years later, he works for the Knicks and he makes fan appearances, popping up in Queens randomly to stand with Knicks fans and cheer with Knicks fans. And to me, like for somebody that was a certain way back in the days when he was younger, for him to be like now 50 something, I guess he's like 54, I believe. That it's just a 360 for the personality. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's dope. Sprewell, I met him a couple times. At our fan events. We had seats in one of the suites up there in the garden, and he popped up so fans could take pictures and stuff. And his energy, I feel his energy. He was cool, very friendly and stuff like that. But you could see that that he has that personality about him that he would slap the shit out you if need be, man. But he seems like a dope dude, man. I'm just glad that after all the history and stuff like that, that as time passes on, that you could just let it go and then just really fall back and enjoy the sport, enjoy the Knicks, enjoy yourself, really. I don't know if Dolan is giving these guys a little kickback or helping these guys out financially, personal wise, as long as they help out the team and stuff. That's what I would think. If don't, I mean, these billionaires, they got so much money, and really, like you really want to keep guys close to you and stuff like that. You want friends. It's very hard to make friends when you're a billionaire, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm quite sure that comes into play too, man. But I just think it's dope that after all this time that you could do that, and make things right after all these years. So I just want to take a look at some highlights from Sprewell, man. So this is off of Ball is Life thing. They posted a little video. So I hope I don't get copyright stricken or nothing like this. But no audio, whatever. And this is not from YouTube or anything. This is off of a Twitter clip. But look at Sprewell back in Golden State, man, going right at Barkley. Talking shit to Barkley at MVP and stuff like that. Just no like he just didn't give a shit. Look at Sean Kemp down. They don't care, attacking him, going up and under with the layups and stuff. The charisma. Just everything about it, man. You want to talk about Slam magazine? He was all over Slam magazine back in the days. He had his own sneakers, the Sprewells. He had his own rims for cars, Sprewell rims. So just watching him attack the basket, he didn't give a damn, who was down there. Come down there and bang. So I mean, who in a million years would think that the Knicks would get somebody like this? So getting Latrell Sprewell eventually led us to go into the NBA Finals that year. Like I said, it's the strike shortened season, but we ended up getting a dynamic player like this, man. So it just brings back memories, for now, because we got Mikal Bridges now, and how the hell did we get Mikal Bridges? We traded all those draft picks, but when you're on a roll, and things are happening, all of a sudden you're able to get players. So the Trust Bureau choked this coach, and then we were able to trade John Starks, a fan favorite, and a couple other things, in order to get Latrell Sprewell here. And we ended up getting Larry Johnson. Who would have thought that we would got Larry Johnson on this roster? Larry Johnson to play with Ewing, and we still kept Houston. They had Chris Childs on the roster, Charlie Ward and stuff like that, man. So it just like I said, it just brings back memories, a lot of parallels to the story, because we already had Julius, we had RJ and these guys. We traded some of those guys, picked up OG, picked up some certain other players, and now here we are at a point now where this Knicks team is on the cusp of possibly getting to the finals again. And it's funny now as Phoenix is there. I believe on the Roommates podcast, some of the videos are going around that they had like a psychic there or whatever, and they predicted what Brunson wrote on his paper, and Brunson was like that the Knicks will make it to the finals and beat Phoenix, whatever. And so I mean, I think that's interesting. So I mean, if you really believe in it, you love the team and whatever, like we really can do whatever we put our minds to, and just to see NBA players with like thousands of people, I guess, or hundreds of people in the crowd watching them do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely in a different world now, and I just think the energy is crazy. We have the biggest energy out of any fan base. We travel. New Yorkers got money. New Yorkers can barely afford to live in New York, but we can afford to travel to go to your city and watch games and stuff, man. So it's fun, man. I just encourage everybody to have fun, and just bring it back to the beginning when I was talking about the everyone else, bringing all the negativity to the space, to the content creator space. Just remember what's going on here. The reason why they were Knicks fans is to get away from all the bullshit. Speaking of bullshit, the Morning Brew Crew, man. I love those guys. Hector will actually interview Hector on this channel. Hector's a friend of the channel. I met Jigga, and I also met Phil through the Morning Brew people. But just meeting them through online, I actually took some time out of my own schedule to go. Matter of fact, while I was at work, I went to pick up a hat for Phil. So Phil lives in Florida. So I was able to pick up a hat, and I also mailed it to him. You know what I'm saying? So, I come from I'm just a good dude, man. I love to meet new people, Knicks fans and stuff like that. I wasn't doing it to try to get in good graces with people. That's just how I am. If you know me, you know me. You know me to be like that. I'll do the best that I can to help out whoever, especially if I have respect for you, especially if I just enjoy what you're doing, or I just enjoy your company, or whatever the fuck. I just do it because it makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that just to say that this Morning Brew Crew, man, they got together, and they was taking the Knicks world by storm, and they allowed politics to get involved, and politics as far as the country politics, not even Knicks politics, not even money, not even anything having to do with this show. They let Donald Trump and Republicans and Democrats get between their show, and their show doesn't exist because of that now. The season is starting now, so shout out to Hector. He has a channel still. He rebranded it under a different name, and Phil has got something brewing. I don't know what Phil is gonna do, but I hope to be involved in anything any of these guys do. I'm taking a break from that now, though, because if I could talk about the MBK crew, like we never had any problems. MBK, MBK, you want to talk about Sim? Nothing but Knicks fam. That's what we call ourselves, MBK fam. I have my own channel. There's no diehard Knicks fam. I still have loyalty to Sim with the Nothing But Knicks, man. Not just from the podcasting standpoint. I just enjoy the dude's company, and I generally care for Sim. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind being, doing things for him or whatever because I enjoy. He's my friend now. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with I'm Jarrell. This in the chat right now. Shout out to Steph. I went to Steph's crib. I hanged out at Steph's crib for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tony. Tony's my guy. Me and Tony talk about the different things. You want to talk about Still Knicks with John and Ron. Both of those guys are pretty dope too, man. It would be nice for us to get together. But as you're older, you got families to raise and stuff. I get it, man. But we always we have conversations offline. We do things offline with each other and stuff like that. And we never had any problems arguing about stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's all of, and we get together and do this Nick content. If we haven't done content with each other in a while, when Sim calls me, I jump up and we do it. If I call Sim would jump up too, but I don't call Sim because I just don't want to bother people. I love doing this channel by myself. I love having these talks, and stuff, rants and stuff like that, just to get it off out my system. So I keep guys alone, so they can concentrate on what they do. But if Sim calls me, I jump. If Tony calls me, I jump. If Steph calls me, usually Steph is doing a show like outside of where I'm free, so sometimes I can't make it, man. But if Steph calls me and I'm available, I jump. Still Nick, same thing. If they call me, I jump. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If I call them, like I said, they would jump too. And I just think that's how it should be. Everything for these Knicks. Just like Latrell Sprewell was cursing out James Dolan 20 years ago, and up until this day now, this guy's like super Nick right now, even regardless of whatever history that he had with the Knicks and whatever. He's still all New York Knicks right now because he can easily go to Golden State, he can easily go to Minnesota and do the same thing, but he chose to go to the Knicks, so and do that, man. So shout out to Harlem CEO, all these guys, all you guys are like the MBK adjacent, you know what I'm saying, always showing up to events, always there. Harlem CEO went to Atlantic City and hanged out with us in Atlantic City with his wife and stuff like that, man. So, it's dope stuff, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it should always be about. It's always about the sport, always about basketball, always about sharing time and just being there for each other within this sport and forgetting about all the bullshit. All the bullshit should not be interfering with what's going on with this Knicks content creating and stuff like that. So that's my message, man. The Twitter stuff, man. I enjoy being on Twitter because I talk on Twitter basically to myself the way that I'm talking to you guys, talking to myself basically. You know what I'm saying? Some people rock with it, and then we engage back and forth, and I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just want to provide content that I would watch, or just content that's a little bit left. Sometimes I talk about everything on this channel besides the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So I like to be different a little bit, because other people are doing what they do. So if you enjoy something what somebody else is doing, please watch them. Please watch them, share, subscribe, and all this other stuff too. If you enjoy what you see here, do the same thing. Please like, subscribe, and all this other stuff too. But in the meantime, man, the content stuff, man, I'm gonna continuously do this until it's not fun anymore. But I got to tell you, after the morning brew stuff, man, it definitely wasn't fun for a second. And I felt like I was just gonna stop doing it because I just didn't want to be involved in that environment, especially the Twitter spaces with with all the nonsense that goes on there with the cursing and just the disrespect, the culture of disrespect. Now I just can't take it. I tell them motherfucker suck my dick in a minute, man. And say if you see me, you see me. That's how I feel about it, man. But I don't want to do that anymore. I'm trying to not do that. I'm just trying not to do that. I'm trying to keep my nose clean. I got my family, my kids. I got to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, I just venting a little bit. I hope you guys allow me to do that because I haven't been on this thing in a while, man. The last time I did a podcast on here was when State came on, and that was like just about 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? And before that was 2 weeks before that. So I really haven't done a show in about 8 weeks, man. So even though I haven't done a show in 8 weeks, man, people are still asking about me. People still hit me up, make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. People that are doing that on behind the scenes and stuff. So I mean, Ebro's still here. I did a pod with Nothing But Knicks the other day, at 8:30. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the Knicks and stuff, and afterwards we talked also offline. So we still here, man. We still here, still gonna provide content. I'm waiting for Sim to put up the watch along, not watch along, the home opener tickets. He's supposed to be getting the home opener tickets. So as soon as that comes live, man, I'm gonna be helping to sell those, making sure that they sell out. and I'll be with my guys hanging out there with the Knicks, man. If they can't get tickets, then I'm more than likely gonna go with I'm gonna try to go with another group, man. But MBK is my crew, so that is what it is. As soon as Sims gets that together, we'll start promoting it, and then hopefully you guys can come hang out with us, man. I definitely would appreciate that. And if you guys ever been to an MBK event, it's old school, man, old school family kind of atmosphere. Everybody's friendly. We all fuck with each other. We all walk together to the event. Sim has live podcasts before we get out there. And anybody that wants to talk is allowed to get on the mic. He doesn't keep it tight where nobody can get on the mic. Anybody that wants to just come through and show love and talk on the mic, you can come through and do it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. So I'm gonna leave it here. I might actually come back on and do another podcast later, man, to support my to support something that's happening with the family and stuff, man. So as soon as I get the go away with that, you might see me pop on again, like in maybe another hour or so. So anyway, for those that don't know, this is Dire Knicks, Dire Eru in the place. 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb salute, and I'll see you guys next time. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of podcasts that I should have done all summer that I still have a chance to do, and I probably will get busy probably starting tomorrow. So look for possibly another podcast tonight. If not tonight, like I said, once again, you'll see me again tomorrow. So anyway, once again, Dire Knicks out. See ya. You guys want to see the outro? Let's play the outro, man. Shout out to Travis Ryan on the track. Peace.
Eru, I see you. Die hard. Trav. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard, homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it is on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gon' murder